And hello everyone, the Cargo Line series continues. Take care with delicate high security cargo in Vol.5 and Nuclear, coming from Skyhook Games on the 18th of November. Cargo Line 5 was first mentioned in the June roadmap, showing off the modernised Class 20 locomotives and unique flask wagons. The gameplay in the add-on simulates the movement of radioactive nuclear material up and down two stretches of the West Coast main line. The role of these trains is simple: safely carry nuclear flasks between power stations and processing centres across the UK. This important task made them a popular and rare catch for enthusiasts, and despite the reduction in nuclear power plants since the millennium, the trains are still seen in use to this day. Due to the volatile nature of the cargo, nuclear trains are often operated with multiple locomotives at once. The modernised Class 20/3 was one such type of locomotive assigned to this role. Bookending the wagons between locos protects them against any direct impact, and additional diesel engines added contingency in case of failure. Wherever possible, the nuclear train must remain moving and is given high priority across the network. The English electric Type 1/Class 20 locomotive, known to many as choppers because of the distinctive engine sounds, first appeared in Train Sim World as a loco add-on for the Tees Valley line set in the early 1990s. Cargo Line Volume 5 introduces a new contemporary version. Developed in the 1950s, the English Type 1 was the first major step on British Railways' path to dieselisation. After many trials and failures, the Type 1 showed a promise as a 1000 HP locomotive, and between 1957 and 1968 a total of 228 would be produced. The Type 1s took over from steam locomotives of equivalent power, primarily working light, mixed freight traffic throughout the Midlands and in Scotland. Unlike newer locomotives, Type 1s featured a rather unique single cab design. The cab, situated at the rear of the locomotive, has controls facing in either direction and gives the locos a tank engine-like appearance, with the diesel engine and onboard equipment sat much like how a firebox and boiler would in front of the cab. Visibility when travelling nose first was quickly realised as a concern, so it became common to see pairs of Type 1s coupled at the nose, allowing for greater view of the track ahead, and with the added benefit of doubling the horsepower, meaning they could handle heavier trains. With the introduction of the TOPS classification system, the EE Type 1s were rebranded as BR Class 20s. Despite being some of the oldest diesels around, the Class 20s have remained in operational use to this day and have survived into preservation, making them a frequent sight on heritage railways. A number of Class 20s were once used in operations in France and to construct the High Speed 1 line featured in Southeastern High Speed. They've also been used to operate rail treatment trains, which is something that can be loosely recreated using Formation Designer and free roam features in-game. In the June roadmap, Skyhook Games explained, created as a wholly owned subsidiary of British Nuclear Fuels Limited during the late 1994, Direct Rail Services had the sole purpose of taking over all rail-based handling of nuclear material from British Rail. Initially operating from the reprocessing plant at Sellafield, DRS opened a dedicated depot at Carlisle Kingmore Yard in 1998 to cater for its new fleet of 15X Channel Tunnel Works Class 20 locomotives. DRS eventually operated a fleet of 21 examples of the English electric Type 1s, being significantly upgraded by brush traction of Loughborough with long-range fuel tanks, group standard headlight clusters, high-impact windscreens, and a complete cab rebuild before outshopping them in iconic Oxford blue livery with fully yellow ends and red buffer beams. The Class 20/3 in this add-on represents features circulating from the year 2000 and includes modernised cab including NRN and GSM-R equipment, non-functional nuclear panic button, and removal of headco discs. Sandwiched between a pair of Class 20s is the FNA-D Nuclear Flask Wagon, new to Train Sim World. The original fleet of FNA wagons was built by British Rail and later Procore for the transport of spent nuclear fuel from power stations to processing and research centres. These fascinating wagons came into service in the 1970s and became an iconic part of the network, performing this important task. In the 2010s, it was identified that replacements were required. The Nuclear Decommissioning Authority commissioned W.H. Davis to produce 40 new wagons as a like-for-like replacement for the original FNAs. The new batch featured several major updates, including exposed framing, different bogies, and the ability to carry a wider range of flask designs. Despite the reduction in nuclear power plants in the UK since the millennium, the FNA-Ds can still be seen in use across much of the UK today. Cargo Line Vol.5 adds nuclear services and scenarios to two stretches of the West Coast Main Line: West Coast Main Line Preston Carlisle and West Coast Main Line London Milton Keynes. So on the West Coast Main Line Preston to Carlisle there will be 3 scenarios, 14 timetable services. These represent trains running out of Sellafield nuclear site, with in-game services running between Carnforth, Preston and Carnforth, Carlisle as well as Morecambe, Preston and Morecambe, originating off the map at Heysham Harbour. These services are operated by Class 47 locomotives that feature in the route add-on, with formations including Mark I BG coaches either side of the FNA-D wagons. And the West Coast Main Line London Milton Keynes, there are 2 scenarios and 4 timetable services. These represent trains running out of Sellafield and Dungeness nuclear sites, with in-game services running between Wilston's Junction and Milton Keynes, as well as services starting and ending at Bletchley and Willesden Brent sidings. Riviera Line services. Prior to the release of Train Sim World 6, it was also mentioned that the planned nuclear train services that Rivet Games Tyler implemented into the Riviera Line timetable. These will be made available for players that own Cargo Line Vol.5, plus the other add-ons required for the unique formation. Please note that for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, the spread of other trains running around has been reduced to provide acceptable performance. This reduction does not apply to PC, Xbox S, X or PlayStation 5 versions. Train Sim World 6 Cargo Line Vol.5 Nuclear is releasing on the 18th of November for Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Epic Games and Steam for £12.99 or €15.99 or $16.99. So, are you looking forward to Cargo Line Vol.5 Nuclear? If so, why don't you drop a comment below? And if you found this video helpful, then please like and subscribe. It does mean a lot to me. Be much appreciated, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next one.